As a young trial attorney, I was asked by the governor of the state of Florida to be on a selected committee to start the first mediation program in Florida, which was also the first mediation program in the United States. So I sat on that board and helped develop all the rules and regulations for a number of years and learned a lot about mediation. As a result, I decided, and because I tried as a trial lawyer to always involve my clients in helping to make decisions, and that wasn't always possible. So I decided to become a full-time mediator. And I decided to become a full-time mediator so that the clients could be absolutely involved in their own disputes, because it's their dispute. A dispute takes two people, and getting those people together online to resolve it, to talk, to listen, to compromise is extraordinarily important process. Sure, it's empowering. It's empowering to the parties because they get to make their own decisions. And when they do that, then they're taking responsibility for their own actions. And that's a life learning lesson. Actually, my first mediations took place as I was trained in both in Florida and at Harvard University. But then I, through a stroke of good luck, became a USAID Mediation Specialist. So I lived and worked in Bulgaria, Kosovo, Jordan, and lastly, Sri Lanka. And actually, my first mediation took place in Bulgaria. So I not only had that mediation to demonstrate to them, but I also was doing it in a foreign country and in a different culture. So it was really interesting. And I'll just add one thing, because when I got to Bulgaria, in terms of culture, put yourself in my place when you think that you're answering their question in the positive and you answer like this, yes. Well, in Bulgaria, this means yes, and this means no. Let me just start by saying that we are living in a continually shrinking world, and our interculturals, our cultures can clash in communications, in values, in how society thinks and acts. And we need to learn from each other's cultures. We need to learn about them. So that's what's important in the first instance in terms of figuring out what to do in an intercultural mediation. It's important also because it's going to increase. Climate change is coming. With climate change, you're going to have water issues with drought, with famines, with flooding, to move massive populations into other countries. And just like with the Ukrainians who've had to move from their war-torn country, you're going to see that continuing movement of populations and the continuing opportunity for the clash of cultures. We've got to be prepared as mediators to deal with that. The first thing that I recommend everybody do is to prepare. Find out about your parties. Conduct pre-mediation interviews, and they are especially critically important in an intercultural or multicultural environment. So prepare, meet with them. And then secondly, when you know that there are differences between your culture, be humble and be honest. Say to them, I'd like to learn about your culture. What can you tell me you would like to do with this mediation? Do you understand? Talk about the roles of the mediator, because in many countries, the mediator decides as a conciliator, but in most countries, the mediator is there to help the parties decide. So you get to talk about these very different and important issues in a pre-mediation conference. Vitally important. I think if you're not prepared, if you haven't learned about culture, or if you haven't invited the diversity of culture into your life as a curious person, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So one of the things that you have to do is you have to be open, you have to be curious, you have to be able to listen. So following on what I just said, I think the biggest challenge, at least for me, and it could be with others as well, in a multicultural mediation is the fact that if you're not prepared for those cultural differences, you can be triggered as a mediator. That's why at BRDGES Academy, we teach emotional intelligence in a cultural situation, how not to be triggered by those cultural differences, and to be prepared for those cultural differences so you're not triggered, and to be patient and work through them. And when those cultural differences happen, and mostly in communications, be humble, ask the question, and be honored by the answer. Say when IMI was started many years ago, I was chair of the board and president of Mediators Beyond Borders, and Ken Cloak and I both became founding members and really talked it up among our membership of Mediators Beyond Borders, because it was extremely important as the first international global professional organization for mediators. It came about shortly after the United Nations had a resolution which required all countries to establish a mediation program. So at the timing of its birth was very important to set those standards as a mediation group for mediation groups and individual mediators. The ethical standards are important. The process by which you go through to become a member of IMI is extraordinarily important. And lastly, as one of the two original qualified intercultural QAPs, I got it helped me to learn more. It helped me to develop the certification program, which I've been doing and working with now for the last many years. And I thoroughly enjoy it. Well, I would say be patient. I make myself available as much as I can to younger mediators from all over the world. I especially enjoy mentoring young women who want to get into the mediation business. And what I say to them is be patient. One, be patient personally. You're going to have to learn a lot. And the learning part is the exciting part. That's the fun part. Be humble while you're learning. In terms of the profession that you're trying to build, please understand it's going to take a little while to build your practice as a mediator. But and as we say at BRDGES Academy, join our evolution, join the diversity, welcome it, embrace it, and learn. Be curious.